Sheriff Hazard is a hard man to be. High Sheriff is his only plan. He digs through pockets, takes what he can, for he's High Sheriff Hazard. He caught me one evening, and here's what he said. You look like a Russian, you look like a red. And if you're fond of your skin and your head, beware the High Sheriff of Hazard.
I'm very dumb. Anyway, who do we got next?
Hey, y'all, we got KDog on the line. KDog, can you read us? We had some issues earlier.
I remember.
KDog.
No, KDog.
KDog.
KDog. All right, KDog, is your microphone maybe muted on the actual hardware itself, like the microphone or headset or whatever it is you're using? Is it is it like a switch that you can turn on and off? Is that it? I've done that, like tried.
Or check the settings. Maybe the microphone isn't allowed in the settings.
This one's fine.
Oh.
It's working fine.
Awesome. There we go. We got it. What's up, KDog? What do you got for us tonight?
Oh, man, this is so hard to get on. I suspect something may be up. Oh, hey, Noah, glad to finally talk to you. Do you remember me from last week?
I think vaguely, yes. Can
Oh,
you
good. That tells me you can hear me. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I have my own website. You know, we're talking about eco-socialism, and be much more interesting to talk to you about how the environment is kind of part of the means of production as an externality, and that's how it relates to Marxism and all that. However, today's discussion, talking about algorithms and such, you know, it's pretty interesting. I think I want to contribute that a little bit. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I was talking to you last week, and you know, I mentioned I have a website, and I went off to do something else after the show, and I went back to the website, and my forum was erased. It was gone.
Ooh.
And the backup was gone. And I had my own backup, so I was able to get it up 2 hours later. And so, yeah, I've had this my own website, you know, like I pay an IP provider. I write the code. I'm a programmer. I'm also a retired electrical engineer who has to be work at 5 o'clock in a warehouse, but that's another story. Anyway, I know quite a bit about this shit. And, you know, I've had this website for a long time. And the reason I have my own backup is because, well, the first time something like this happened, only certain posts in the forum disappeared. But this time it was out of 50 database tables, it was the 5 critical ones. Total accident, 5 out of 50, random occurrence. And the IP providers, the international, and I get on to a chat with them, and they're really cool guys. Okay.
Mhm.
And they'll let me know that they couldn't do anything right now because I was under the US service plan. And when the US service plan was finished with me, if I had my own backup, I could restore it. And so I promptly wrote my own code and make my own backup, and I'm fine now, sort of.
What?
So anyway, that happened last week after I was live on your show.
That's really,
So
really strange. That what a coincidence.
no, it's not. It's happened before. You know, when I have my own independent, I'm not part of Facebook. I'm not on any kind of platform. This is my own platform. It's personal. And like on my website, 2 people could register and send messages to each other
Mhm.
from one part of the world to another. Okay. And that certainly would be seen by the deep state. Don't even try it if you're going to do that. But the fact that I'm actually exist, and I made that, and I came to the attention years ago by when I found out about internet chat rooms that were being staffed by Army personnel to disrupt conversations, I came on the radar big time. And that was a really interesting experience, let me tell you. When people are fucking following you, and the only way you can get them off your back is to leave your phone at home so they don't know where you are. Life changes, and it takes a while to adjust to that. But that's years ago. I continued, you know, I stayed alive. You know, and I'm doing my thing and trying to join the ACP. Love the ACP, by the way. I'm trying to get a security key in the mail right now because there's no way I can use the Windows software thing or anything like that. You know, I have to have the hardware key to do it. And so, yeah, I popped up for it last night, and so it should be in the mail to me now. So that's great, you know, and it's great to know that the ACP is fully aware of what the algorithms can do. You know, there's a lot of talk about AI. Okay, I've been in AI for years. To me, it's nothing really new. It's reached a threshold, so it's more in the public awareness, and it's more able to do certain things, but really it's still at the point where only the professionals can use it to do whatever it is they professionally do. And I use it all the time. So, you know, it's a tool. It's really, that's what it is. It's a tool. It's a tool. It's a tool. And anyway, so if I have anything closing to say, I just want to, you know, keep spreading the message. You know, I heard Bernays mentioned earlier, you repeat the message. And so I'm in the process with everybody here of learning and repeating and, you know, trying to get this world, this nation going in the direction where it should have been going 40 years ago, you know. So, yeah, I'm an old fart boomer, you know, and but I got to point out, you know, some of us have been around since like Vietnam. Like some of us had to think real seriously about going to Canada and shit like that. And my personal situation, I actually did have a draft number that never got called up. So it was on my mind a little bit. So, you know, generationally wise, you know, things go way back. And, you know, what's going on now has gone on before. But the world, it's time. It's time for people to wake up and take control of our lives and quit letting the wrong people tell us how to live. Don't you know, stop the exploitation. Okay, now I'm rambling. You got anything you want to ask me or say? Now's the time.
No, I think you're absolutely right. It is time. We're at this impossible situation where people's lives are bad and getting worse. And the ruling class continually tells us, no, everything's okay, right? As most of the people in this country struggle paycheck to paycheck, as over 90% of us have a zero or less than zero net worth, owning nothing. Everything is debt to the banks, right? And during all of that, just like what happened during Vietnam, they're ramping up their belligerence, right? We could, you know, get into why the gold standard was dropped, but that'd be a whole discussion. But it
I
is
don't know
such a
enough about
terrifying
that
time
anyway.
because of the wars and how they are continuing the proxy war and ramping up aggression towards China. And at the same time, talking about reinstating the draft. I have a 14-year-old son, right? When he's 18, where is this country going to be? You know, I'm terrified that he'll get sent to murder Chinese people, right? Or he'll get sent to murder Russian people. Both of whom have more in common with him than the people sending him there. You know, I have nightmares about this. And so for me, this is why I fight, because we don't have time to waste. I think you're right about that. What do you think, Chris?
I agree 100%. I mean, I have kids as well, and I think about it all the time. I mean, if you really think about where we're at, we're at a juncture. We're at a real axial moment in human history. And, Rosa Luxemburg's words are never more prescient than now. Really, socialism or barbarism, and I think of, those of you who lived during Vietnam, and I know many of my closest comrades up here in Vermont, many of them were anti-war activists at the time. Many of them crossed the border into Quebec or Ontario and then came back. Some of them stayed up there. I think that generation paved the way for us in some ways, but also we can learn from their failures and their mistakes. On one side, they did some amazing and tremendous things in changing the course of history. And the other side, there were various failures. And also some people just ended up leaving and going into the corporate world and, taking off the peace pins and putting on the Goldman Sachs pin. I mean, it just happened that way. And we have to be aware of that and how that happens in our movement. But overall, I think that now, with everything going on, we have a real opportunity now to advocate for peace, to advocate for development, to advocate for diplomacy, to advocate for friendship. We don't even use that kind of language. That was Soviet language, friendship of the peoples. We need to be friends with everyone. We are friends with everyone. It's our government that continues to pit people against one another, whether it be different religions, different ethnicities, citizen versus non-citizen. We need to emphasize that we, as the communists, are the people who choose peace, are the people who choose development, are the people who want to enrich the lives of all of the people, not just the elite, not just the few, but the many. And I think this is something that we can harp on when we are in conversation, especially with the uniparty of war, the uniparty of empire. And we can say, you do not represent family values. You do not represent peace. You do not represent progress. You represent the very worst of humanity. We, as communists, represent all that is good and just, and we can build a better world. And it isn't only through us that you can realize the world that we all, I believe, want to see.
I can't think of a better
right,
way to
comrade.
go than with that. Unless you got something else for us, KDog.
Yeah, I just want to say that's right. I get so, hey, people misunderstand communism in America. My own wife, it drives me crazy. She's a woman. Hey, oh God, what have I said? The ignorance that people have out there is just like an iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear Chris say that so clearly, we are the party of peace. We are the party of community.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a dog-eat-dog society. It's every man for himself, and you got to work and you got to save for your own retirement and you got to do this. We don't have national health care. And, if we lived in a modern society where everybody's needs were taken care of, we could chill a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We could be nicer to each other. We could live better lives. We could create a world that might last 100 years or 1,000 years instead of 25. Who knows? You're worried about your child, 14, 18. Hey, we live in a clown world. It's time we take control and take the decent people, family values. We got it. But the elites have control over the media hegemony, and we got to break that. Yeah.
I agree.
Now, time for me to close. Thank you.
Dugan agrees, apparently. Sorry, once in a while we have to play that. It's a rule. Our overlord, president for life, Vladimir Putin, he makes us. So I'm joking. Thank you so much for your call, KDog. I think you're right about everything. Right now is a time of opportunity, and I, for one, don't mean to let it pass us by. So before we go for the night, I want to thank Chris. Chris, thanks so much for coming on, brother. This was awesome. Sorry about the sort of rough start we got to. That's me, and that's how I work. I mess up the beginning of every single show. So
it was a real pleasure, and I want to salute the audience. Of course, I want to first salute all of the ACP members. Comrades, welcome to our party. I want to salute all of the people watching, and I hope that you will all continue to keeping the faith, continue to struggle, and continue to learn and build and develop, because it never stops. Even for myself, there's so many more things that I want to improve on, that I want to learn on. It never stops for any of us. We are constantly on the train, on the progress train to a better world and a better future.
And this train ain't stopping. See you guys next time.
Stand up, all victims of oppression, for the tyrants fear your might. Don't cling so hard to your possessions, for you have nothing if you have no right. Let racist ignorance be ended, for respect makes the empires fall. Freedom is merely privilege extended, unless enjoyed by one and all. So come, brothers and sisters, for the struggle carries on. The International unites the world in song. So comrades, come rally, for this is the time and place. The international ideal unites the human race. Let no one build walls to divide us, walls of hatred nor walls of stone. Come greet the dawn and stand beside us. We'll live together or we'll die alone. In our world poisoned by exploitation, those who have taken, now they must give. And end the vanity of nations, we've but one earth on which to live. So come, brothers and sisters, for the struggle carries on. The International unites the world in the song. So comrades, come rally, for this is the time and place. The international ideal unites the human race. And so begins the final drama, in the streets and in the fields. We stand unbowed before their armor, we defy their guns and shields. When we fight, provoked by their aggression, let us be inspired by life and love. For though they offer us concessions, change will not come from above. So come, brothers and sisters, for the struggle carries on. The International